What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday, man. Got a quick video, man. Gonna talk about some breaking news, man. Second tier welterweights here, man. But it should be an exciting fight, man. But Michael Carpenter is reporting that Jamal James versus Thomas Dulurme is a done deal for April 11th. Fight slated to take place on Fox. Going to be going down at the Armory. That's going to be a hometown fight once again for Jamal James, man. The Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This will be his 5th fight there in a row. So he's been doing good numbers there at that facility, hometown fights, and Fox and PBC are looking to go back there again April 11th for Thomas Dulurme and Jamal James, man. This should be a good fight, man. It's not a top tier fight at welterweight. You know, this is a guy, both guys to me are second tier welterweights, man, but it should be an exciting fight, man. Thomas Dulurme, man, he was in a real exciting fight against Terrell Williams, man. It was on the undercard on FS1 late 2019, man. It was a good fight, man. That was a very good, very exciting fight, man. And Thomas Dulurme, low key secret in the welterweight division, man. You know, he's lost to Terrence Crawford up in Dallas, I think right outside of Dallas, Arlington. They fought at I think it was College Park Center in Arlington, Texas. It was a good fight, and you know, it was very competitive until Terrence Crawford figured out Thomas Dulurme, as he does a lot of his opponents. He takes a couple of rounds to figure him out, a la Floyd Mayweather Jr., and he breaks him down and stops him. And that's exactly what happened in the Thomas Dulurme fight. And I think after that he fought Sean Porter. He fought Porter, and Porter just muscled him around, and just his physicality and his ferocity and aggressiveness just kind of overwhelmed Thomas Dulurme. He couldn't deal with that, and he actually lost that fight too on a decision. But Thomas Dulurme, since then, man, since those 2 losses, that's really his only 2 losses, man. You know, I think he took some other losses, but that's his 2 notable losses. And he's really on a comeback trail, man, because I thought he actually beat Jesse Vargas. That fight was on the zone. A very competitive fight, man, but he busted up Jesse Vargas, had him bleeding all over the place. And I thought he actually won that fight, man. That fight was ruled a draw, which I thought was a bad decision. And I think he's got a real good chance, a real good shot at Jamal James, man. Jamal James is a good, solid, B-level fighter. You know, his last fight against Antonio DeMarco was a real good fight, surprisingly good fight. A lot of people thought Antonio DeMarco was a shot fighter. A lot of people thought he was a shot fighter, and they thought Jamal James would beat him. They thought, they put that fight together as a showcase fight with Jamal James, and it actually turned out to be a very close fight, especially in the first half of the fight. I thought toward the second half of the fight, Jamal James kind of took a little bit more control than he did in the first half of that fight, and he was able to get the decision, man. But it was a very competitive and a very fun, action-packed fight. So, and I think this fight will be a little bit of the same, man. And I think if Jamal James fights the same way he fought against Marco, he could get beaten that fight, man. Because Thomas Dulurme has a lot of pop in his punches, man. He hits hard, man. You know, he's one of those guys that throw hard shots, but they're clean hard shots. They're accurate hard shots. And Jamal James got hit a lot in that Antonio DeMarco fight. If he's getting hit by DeMarco, who a lot of people thought going into that fight was pretty much faded, pretty much washed up, and DeMarco was coming up from 135. You know, he was a guy coming up from a smaller weight class, and he was able to land shots on Jamal James. And I thought he stunned Jamal James a couple times in that fight. I don't think he actually hurt him, but I thought he stunned him a lot in that fight. Not a lot, but I think multiple times he stunned Jamal James. So Jamal James going to tighten up his defense, man. That's going to be a good fight, man, and it's going to be going down April 11th. Now, I've heard rumors going on that that same date, Regis Prograis is supposed to fight Maurice Hooker. I don't see, it's not a done deal, but it's rumored that fight is going to take place on April 11th. So here we go again in boxing, when you got a night where you're going to have fights going on 2 different cards, on 2 different networks. And boxing fans going to have to make a decision unless they kind of stagger the times different, where maybe one of the fights started a little earlier than the other fight and you were able to see both main events. But, that's just hoping that it go work out like that. But the bottom line is these 2 fights, if the Prograis Hooker fight goes down on the same date, boxing fans are going to have to make a decision what fight they're going to want to go to. Now, One thing about the James and Dulurme fight, that fight is going to be on Fox. That's what Michael Carpenter reported. It's going to be on Fox, so it'll be on free TV, so it'll have advantages as far as that goes over an app, a DAZN app that a lot of people still don't recognize or still don't know about. You know, so we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what's going on with that front, man. I see a trend going on with Fox. That's their. You know, when Fox first opened up, and even just a PBC going on Fox and going on NBC, when they first started with putting it on free TV, when they first cut the deal with PBC, cut the deal with NBC and CBS, you know, you saw fights like, you know, Keith Thurman, Robert Guerrero, you know, Danny Garcia, Lamont Peterson, you know, Adrian Broner, Sean Porter. But now it seems like, you know, the deal that they got with Fox must be a lesser deal. Fox must have got a real sweetheart deal with that deal. They must not be paying a lot. And the PBC has kind of downgraded their main event cards. Now we're getting, you know, Adam Kanaki versus Robert Helenius. You know what I'm saying? You know, and now we're getting Jamal, J. Rock Williams versus Jason Rosario. You know what I'm saying? We did get Tony Harrison versus Jamal Charlo, but I heard Jamal Charlo got probably like over $1 million for that fight, and then Tony Harrison only got $500,000. He was a champion, so that was the only reason why a fight of that caliber made it to Fox. So Fox is almost like FS1 was. You know what I'm saying? FS1 is like bounce now. It's like each network and took a step down as far as they go. And anything where you got a fighter that should be on, any fights that should be on Fox is going on pay-per-view. Look for this year. If Jamal Charlo fights J. Rock Williams, both guys gonna command over $2 million, so that fight's going to pay-per-view. Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez, both guys gonna command $2 million for that fight. That fight's gonna go on pay-per-view. As you've seen, as you heard already, there's already rumors going around, strong rumors going around that Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz is going to pay-per-view. You know, so that's where we're headed right now, man. You know, fights that should be on Fox are gonna be on pay-per-view. Fights that should be on Fox is fights that should be on pay-per-view is gonna be on Fox. Fights that should be on Fox is gonna be on FS1. And Fox that should be on FS1 should be on Bounce. You know, when Bounce was showing, I don't think Bounce even showing PBC fights anymore. I think they got out of boxing altogether. So that's where we're at, man. And we just got to deal with it, man. But boxing gonna have to get their act together, man. You know, some of these fights ain't got no business being on pay-per-view, and some of these fights, main event fights, ain't got no business being on Fox, man. They should be on FS1. And some of these fights, like I said, shouldn't even be on FS1, man. They should be undercard fights or be on Bounce. So that's where we at, man. You know, just kind of shaking my head at this, man. I like the fight, man, but for this fight to be on Fox, man, this fight actually should be on undercard fight to a Spence Pacquiao pay-per-view or something. It should be like at best a co-main event for that. It shouldn't be no main event on Fox, man. But that's just where we're at right now, man. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, man, in 2020, man. But so far, man, I'm not impressed at all with these Fox cards starting 2020 out, man. Like I said, Adam Kanaki, Robert Helenius had no business being on no main event on Fox. You know, I could have stomached, you know, Adam Kanaki versus Dominique Brazil. You know, if that fight would have took place, I could have stomached that as a main event barely. That fight probably should be a co-main to Wilder Fury 2, really. That shouldn't be no main event on Fox either. But I could kind of see that way more than I could see Adam Kanaki versus Robert Helenius. But they're obviously trying to keep Adam Kanaki winning because they want to set up a fight between him and Deontay Wilder probably somewhere toward the end of 2020. And they could put that fight at the Barclays as Adam Kanaki has a huge Polish following in New York, and they'll come out in big numbers for him to fight Wilder. You know, Wilder has fans everywhere, and there'll be a big crowd that support him too. So that'll be a big pay-per-view fight in 2020 for the WBC Heavyweight Championship, assuming Wilder defeats Fury. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what transpires, man. But that's the breaking news, man. Michael Carpenter is reporting Jamal James. And again, I just thought about, I forgot to mention this, my bad. Jamal James will be versus Thomas Dulurme will be for the WBA interim title. That's another thing that's getting on my nerves. Why has the WBA got all these titles? Manny Pacquiao is the WBA super welterweight champion. My bad, he's the WBA super. Not super welterweight, you know, make it think he's going to 154, but he's the super WBA welterweight champion. The regular WBA welterweight champion is Alexander Vesputin, who recently got caught with PEDs, and he says he wants the B-sample release to prove his innocence. He's saying he is not a dirty fighter. But at currently standing, he is the regular WBA welterweight champion. And then we got Virgil Ortiz. He's He's the WBA gold welterweight champion. So you gotta have 4 different titles in the WBA. WBA need to go somewhere, man. They need to get on. They need to quit this foolishness. You need to have one champion. Gonna have 4 people calling themselves champion. And like I said, just for Jamal James and Thomas Dulurme to be for WBA titles is absolutely ridiculous. Even if it is an interim, that's absolutely ridiculous. But Jamal James, like I said, it's gonna be his 5th time going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. 5th time fighting there in his hometown, and this is 5th time fighting in the Armory. That's where that's the venue where they're gonna have the fight at, and obviously he's been doing good numbers, man, there. Because from what I've seen on TV, man, the crowds have been very lively. For the most part, this venue's been full. So I guess they're they got a winning hand right there in Minnesota, and they're gonna keep going back to that well, man, till that well runs dry, man. But at the same time, man, the networks need to do better as far as what fights they put on as main event fights, man. And this fight to me is not a main event fight, man. This is a FS1 fight or a co-main event to a pay-per-view fight at best. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.